You're watching another edition of Hi Events, and today we're here at Colomboscope, the 6th edition of the only interdisciplinary art festival in Sri Lanka, and of course the platform for contemporary arts right here. So let's go on and see what this is all about right here on Hi TV. Natasha Ginwala, one of the driving forces behind Colomboscope. Hi Natasha, tell me about Colomboscope, what this is all about.
Thank you so much for joining us at Colomboscope. We already have a huge crowd at our opening. So this is the 6th edition of the Interdisciplinary Arts Festival Colomboscope. We have around 35 artists from across South Asia and many different parts of the world. Sea change is the theme, and we are at this point at the ground floor of the 7 floors of the Rio complex.
Also tell me, what was the need to sort of bring out a festival like this?
In Sri Lanka, we don't have so many cultural platforms that actually bring together the visual arts, performance, film, but also actually, I would say, a certain kind of research-based dialogue, and that is what we are doing today. I'd also love to mention that a lot of the Sri Lankan artists have actually produced new work, and so they've been working for the last several months, premiering the pieces that you see today.
Speaking to Pooja, the director of Colomboscope. Hi Pooja, tell me what is the rationale behind Colomboscope?
Okay, so Colomboscope actually started in 2013. We wanted to set a platform where local artists could engage with international artists on an international platform. So now this is actually our 6th edition. It started off with experimental artists, but now we also have both experimental and established artists. So we try to keep a balance between 50% Sri Lankan, 50% international. And some of our artists actually now go on to international biennales. So we like to think that we're giving them maximum exposure, where otherwise they could not showcase their work, where they don't have like an avenue or access to such a platform, really.
Also tell me, how has the response been from the artists and even the people that come here?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we have amazing support from our general audience. Our numbers keep growing. Like from 2013, we've grown from about 200 people to now we're at about 3,000. So the audience is great, receives it really well.
Talking to Dr. Petra, the director of Goethe Institute, tell me the vision of Colomboscope and how the growth has been from the beginning to now.
Originally, Colomboscope was an initiative by my former colleague from the Goethe Institute to have a multidisciplinary festival in Colombo, which is dedicated to the city. And then the other European Culture Institute, British Council and Alliance Française joined. And we brought in artists from our countries to dialogue with artists from Sri Lanka and from South Asia. And we continued over the years, and I had the feeling that this festival belongs to Sri Lanka and that Sri Lanka should have an ownership. It is extremely difficult to get support for cultural organization structures in this country. And now we have a young, courageous festival team with Pooja as a festival director and Natasha as the festival curator. And we, just as the cultural institutes from Europe, we step back. We bring our artists from Europe. We support artists from South Asia to come. We support local artists, but we need urgently a structure and an ownership in the country to make this festival continue. My vision is that Sri Lanka becomes proud to have such a beautiful festival which has a meaning, and what you can see from the topic this year, sea change, that is relevant for Sri Lanka, the neighboring region and the world, because everything is global.
to Chandragupta Thenura. Hi sir, tell me, as a local artist, what do you think of Colomboscope and how it helps the industry, the local industry?
No, we have to understand this is a very important industry. It's a creative industry. So it's a marginalized industry in Sri Lanka. They are thinking only the metals and other things are the creative industry, but this is a very important industry because it's keep the live the mind and hearts of the people. So that is why art is very important. So when these kind of things are happening in Sri Lanka, it's very important because I had a chance to participate in this space 2 years before, I think, when I showed my work here. So with the Colomboscope, and so I was happy that again they came here. And one thing is that as a meeting point for the artists and the meeting point with the viewers and the artists. And other thing is it's a very important building, Rio. Rio is the last bastion kind of remaining from the 1983 pogrom.
Speaking to Saskia, you've been someone who's been setting a platform for local artists. What do you think of Colomboscope?
I think Colomboscope is a fantastic platform. It has been from the very beginning. It's great that Natasha Ginwala is on board for this event as well. I remember that the very first edition that she curated, which was in the same location, was just outstanding. Colombo needs an event like this to present work on a different scale. These are projects that are presented for the spaces and for the events, which is slightly different from what galleries present in forms of exhibitions. So we need these kind of things on different levels, presenting art, creating different platforms for young and established artists. It's very important.
Speaking to Ashok, you being a local author and artist, how does Colomboscope help to bring out the local talent to an international platform?
Well, I think it's absolutely fabulous, and don't forget that I was the first curator of the very first Colomboscope, but that was a much more literary event, naturally, because I'm a writer. But here you have the arts, various types of art. It's not just art that you hang on the wall. It's kind of performance, installation, all the stuff that I know absolutely nothing about.
Sandev, tell me, what are your thoughts on Colomboscope and how does it feel to be getting an opportunity like this?
I mean, it's really exciting. I think it's exciting for what it means for having a bunch of artists to come together and be in conversation with each other. I know that's not something that we are sort of used to here, and so sort of inviting these sort of large conversations to happen with really incredible nuances, I think is a really, really good place. We can critically look at things that are present and relevant to us today. So I think that, yeah, for that reason it works really well, yeah.
Speaking to Firi, who's got a masterpiece right here now, tell me about this.
So this one is called like Taste Karate. Taste Karate is something that you find in golf is always time, right? So what this is like, basically this work is all about shifting baseline. That is something that I learned from Asha DeVos during my whale expedition in Mirissa. So that's time that I kind of learned about like busy shipping lines back in days, and also like about how the ocean is keep changing for the human interaction and stuff. So what I just thought like to kind of compare the stories like back in days, the stories that I collect from my project. So from the neighborhood in Slave Island, then I just go through that, and I also listen to stories about how people used to get like collect these turtle eggs in Gulf face back in days, and sharks and everything and all.
That's a wrap from Colomboscope, the 6th edition of the only interdisciplinary arts festival in Sri Lanka. And this time's theme was Sea Change. And you have to come and check this out because Sri Lanka's got amazing artists, and it has over 35 artists from different countries of the world, and it was absolutely amazing. So catch me again on another edition of Hi Events. Till then, this is Naviksha signing out for Hi TV.